Hey, you guys, this is Jeremy within the DAW, and today we are doing a video on the Kush Audio Gold Plate. This was just released, and I love this thing. I'm just gonna say it right now. I love this thing. Go buy it. Just go buy it. It is really cool. Let's just jump into the video and check it out. Hey you guys, welcome back. And like I said earlier, today we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Kush Audio Gold Plate. This is in collaboration with Relab, who are the people who have made one of the coolest emulations of the old school Lexicon classic reverb units. Now this plugin is very much in the old school Kush fashion. I like to personally think of this much like how the UBK1 was kind of considered the movement compressor because it added so much movement and groove to it. I kind of feel like this is their version of the UBK1 plugin put into a plate. This thing can sound nothing like a plate reverb, or it can sound exactly like a very nice pristine plate reverb. Now it's really simple. You have meters right here: input, output, gain reduction, bypass, oversampling on and off. We have parameter lock, which you can decide what to lock. You can select your presets right here. You can invert the phase, which is really cool. And then for the actual main core controls, you have the blend knob, which is your dry wet, drive control, and then your output gain. You also have your reverb time, which goes from 500 milliseconds all the way to 5,000 milliseconds. You have your squish control, which is their compressor. I want to know what compressor this is and what settings they are, because I will buy that plugin if I can get a compressor to sound like this. You have your width control, 0 to 100%, 0 being mono, of course. And then you have your pre-delay, 0 to 250 milliseconds. You have this really cool material slider, which will allow you to go from steel all the way to gold and anywhere in between. And I really, really like the graphics on this thing. It reminds me of like this old school, psychedelic, funky kind of look. Only it has like that modern glowing thing to it. It's really cool. They definitely know how to make a cool UI. You also have your high and low pass filters. The high pass filter starts at 0 Hertz, goes all the way to 500 Hertz. Low pass starts at 8K, goes down to 500. Pretty standard, pretty easy. I'm sorry if I'm going really fast. It's just, this is an easy plugin to use. So I like to use this on drums. So for the past couple days, I got an early little copy so I could take a look at it. And I've actually been using this on drums as a crushed room reverb kind of sound. This is mostly because when I record drums, I try to get a mono or stereo room mic that I can just crush, or I use a talkback mic for the drummer as a crush mic. You'll see that in a lot of my tutorial series, which should be coming up in the next few weeks. But when I don't get a chance to record them, I try to make one. And that's kind of what this has done. So let's listen to this plate set up as how I've set it up. 0 squish, 0 pre-delay, set the width to 100. No high and low pass. We'll have it all the way to steel, and we'll use the blend at 100%, no drive. This is basically a very pristine, clean plate. Sounds good. Let's bypass the sound on all the drums. Very tight sounding drum kit. So now that we have that, we can start having fun. Let's start off by changing the materials up. Let's make this longer. You'll notice that the steel has a darker, warmer sound. I love that sound. I feel like I don't even need a high and low pass filter for this. And the gold has a much brighter sound. I like adding just a little bit because it's going to add some splash and some snap later on with the squish. Next, let's mess around with the width control and the reverb time. This is mono. %, and nice and wide at 100. Let's make this super short, very tight, very long now. Let's try a nice blend in between. Cool. That sounds pretty good to me. Now that we've done that, we've pretty much just made this sound like a really high quality plate reverb. We know Relab's going to do that. We know Kush can do that. let's mess around with the squish control because this is where it gets really fun. So I'm going to turn this all the way up. Let's just listen to it now. Can you hear that like really crazy tail? How it sounds like it's squishing into itself? And you can hear the transient just being sucked in. It sounds so cool and it sounds so vintage. Another thing is I really like the gain reduction knob. If you notice, as the needle goes down, it starts to flicker. That sounds so cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the reverb time a little bit longer because it helps smooth out that tail. I'm going to just shave off a little bit up to about 3K-ish. And let's smooth out the low end. So now let's check our input and our output to make sure we have the same volume. Cool. That sounds like a really cool room reverb. Let's take this out of solo and just see how it sounds. Might not even sound good in this mix, but it's so fun to do. Let's take out the reverb. Back in. That sounds so cool. I love this thing. It genuinely just sounds really cool. The only thing I'm really concerned about is that it seems to be using quite a bit of CPU, but that could be because I kind of have this spread around the entire mix now. This is pretty much on everything. I just have the sends turned down. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This is really fun, and this is just me taking a look at a really cool new plugin that's come out. So with that said, I will see you guys in a few seconds. All right, you guys, so that was the Kush Audio Gold Plate. This is in collaboration with Relab and Kush Audio. Relab are the people who make basically emulations of the old school Lexicon boxes and reverb units that have been used in big studios for like ever. They make really, really high quality emulations of really nice high end gear, especially reverbs. And when they combined with Kush Audio, I'm noticing that we're getting a really, really cool combination of quality with Kush Audio's just vibe. This reminds me a lot of the UBK1 plugin, which I bought like when it came out forever ago. And I noticed that that was kind of considered to be the movement compressor, how it adds movement and color and textures. And this really does that with reverb. The squish knob is just the best thing in the world. I I hope they make just a plugin that is just the squish knob because I would like to have that on pretty much everything. You can never have too much over compression mixed in with the dry wet knob. But overall, as you can probably tell, I really, really, really like this thing. It sounds so fun, so cool. It does eat up a little bit of CPU, so you might want to be careful if you have an older computer. But it does sound really good, and the quality is definitely there. It's not doing anything like I've seen in the recent history of reverbs where everything is trying to emulate something perfectly. This is basically being like, here's an emulation of this. Now we're gonna crush it, make it sound totally crazy. Um, I like it. I love it. I recommend you just go out and buy it, but grab a demo and check it out. We'll have the link in the description below. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. This is Jeremy Teo within the DAW, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.